Okay guys, so in this video I'm going to do my best to teach you different types of direction and setups. So this way you can use the lower time frames if you want to trade the lower time frames, or any time frame will work perfectly fine. So there are 5 setups. I know I gave you 3 before, but these are the 5 that you want to be familiar with because they repeat pretty much all the time. So they're the fantastic 5 setups. So QMR is a reversal, a QMC is a continuation, a QMM is a reversal, MEF is a reversal, SNRC1 continuation, SNRC2 continuation. So I'm going to explain to you what all those are and show you some examples. So let's get to it. Next thing is confirmation. You always need confirmation. So first you need to obviously find a setup. Then if you found a setup, you need to look for confirmation. So how do you find confirmation? Is multi-time frame analysis. So confirmation is not only the sorry guys. Oh, that was backwards. Multi-time frame analysis. So the best confirmation is in the engulfing candle body. For example, in the lower time frame, price made an SRC1 setup. In the higher time frame, price made an engulfing. But the confirmation is not only in the form of the engulfing. Confirmation can also be in the double Mariposa candle, as long as the price doesn't touch the end of the trend, because it's more high risk. So the thing is, you always want to keep switching time frames to look for a confirmation if you found a setup. So I'm going to explain to you what that is. So the first setup that I'm going to show you is the SNRC1, which basically is a continuation pattern. So the entry point is either at the rally-based rally or the drop-based drop. It's with a strong support or resistance. Confirmation to the higher time frame is again the engulfing candle, or the dominant double Mariposa candle that hasn't touched a fresh monthly, weekly, daily level yet. Because you don't want to sell into support and you don't want to buy into resistance. You want to catch the move as it continues, right after the reversal, basically. So this is essentially what it looks like. So you have a strong level of resistance, and then you have the rally-based rally, which is in the same line. It has to be in the same line or same zone as the resistance. So that's why I drew the level there. So I'm going to give you some examples, but that's kind of what it looks like. This is a pretty simple continuation pattern. For sells, it's just the opposite. It would be, that says strong support. That's supposed to say strong resistance. Sorry about that. Basically strong, no, that's right. Yeah, strong resistance, yeah, sorry. Strong support, yeah, that gets broken with a drop-based drop in the same level. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to show you some examples. So in the lower time frame, you would have a strong resistance, which is in the same level, as you can see, as a rally-based rally, and then you would enter at that zone or at that level. Higher time frame, you would have a confirmation of the engulfing or the double Mariposa, depending on which where it's found. So this one is found in the double Mariposa body, so that's absolutely valid. Next example, strong resistance plus rally-based rally in the same zone, same level, and that would be the entry. Confirmation at the higher time frame is a bullish engulfing candle in the body of the candle, so that's good. Here's another example, strong support, drop-based drop, same level, and that would be the entry. Higher time frame again is the engulfing candle as a confirmation. Another example, strong resistance, rally-based rally, same level, entry is there, engulfing candle at the higher time frame as the confirmation, right? Next one, strong resistance plus rally-based rally, again same zone, same level, higher time frame is in the engulfing candle, so you can see that as well. Strong resistance, rally-based rally, again entry point, higher time frame, engulfing candle. So the other formula is SNRC2. This time the entry point is in the drop-based rally or rally-based drop, plus the strong support resistance. Again, switched time frames to look for the engulfing or double Mariposa, and that price isn't bouncing off of a monthly, weekly, daily level yet, right? So this is what it looks like. You have a strong resistance, then you have a drop-based rally, and then you have the entry. Just basically familiarize yourself with the structure. Don't worry about too much of the terminology, except for strong resistance and strong support. That's all you really need to know. And then the structure, like how the structure looks. So for the opposite, strong support, rally-based drop, and then the entry. It's a continuation pattern again. So this is kind of what it looks like. So on the 5-minute time frame, this is SNRC2 setup. So you have a strong support, then you have a rally-based drop, and then you have your entry. And in the higher time frame, you have the engulfing candle. Another example, strong support, rally-based drop, and then on the higher time frame again you have the engulfing candle. So that's another example. So you can see, pretty simple, right? So just a continuation pattern. Just pay attention to the overall structure of how it looks, right? So you have a strong support, rally-based drop, and then the entry, higher time frame, is again the engulfing candle. Another example, you have the strong support, rally-based drop, higher time frame, you have the engulfing candle, right? Another example, you have a strong resistance, and then you have a drop-based rally, and then the entry point. Higher time frame, this counts as a double Mariposa, so this is a double Mariposa candle. And then now moving on to the other setup, which is a QMR. So QMR for buy is you have a low, a high, a lower low, and a higher high. It's a reversal pattern, right? So basically it's a shift of structure. If you want to look at it as like a shift of structure, that's what it is. Usually you find them at key levels like monthly, weekly, daily, and 4-hour fresh levels. So I'll just show you what that looks like. QMR sell. This is just get familiar with the structure of what it looks like. So you have the high, the low, higher high, lower low, and then you have the entry to sell. I'm going to give you some examples. So this is what it looks like. You have the high, the low, the higher high, lower low. Just pay attention to the structure, how the structure looks, right? Because the structure is always the same for the most part. And then the higher time frame, again, the engulfing candle or the double Mariposa, that would be the confirmation for this setup. So the lower time frame, you have the QMR. The higher time frame, the entry point is in the body of the engulfing candle, right? So another example, high, low, higher high, lower low. Higher time frame, another engulfing candle. Another example, high, low, higher high, lower low. Higher time frame, again, you have the engulfing candle. Another example, low, high, lower low, higher high, right? And then the higher time frame, you have the engulfing candle as well, again. Another example, high, low, higher high, lower low. Higher time frame, engulfing candle. High, low, higher high, lower low. Again, same thing, pretty much just different examples of how the pattern looks. Confirmation, again, is an engulfing or the double Mariposa in a higher time frame. And then you have the QMC formula buy. So essentially it's a continuation pattern. So it's in a continuation. So the entry is at the third drive, which is basically the third point of the trend line. So the lower low is at the second drive. So if you have the pattern, this is what it looks like. You have the low, high, lower low, higher high. And then you just find, basically the first point and the second point has to be the lower low. And then you enter at the third point, which would be the left shoulder of the pattern, right? And then here's the same thing for sells, except opposite. You make sure the higher high is at the second drive. Entry is at the third drive, which is just the third point of the trend line. Again, same thing. So I'll show you some examples of what that looks like. So the trend line doesn't have to be perfect. It's just for confluence. So as long as you can pretty much connect any 2 points, and then the third point would be the left shoulder, right? So this is what it would look like, right? So you have the high, low, higher high, lower low, and then you have the 3 points. First point, second point is the higher high, third point is the entry. Confirmation is at the higher time frame. Again, as always, the engulfing candle. So that's what the pattern looks like. Here's another example. low, high, lower, low, higher, high. Again, the second point on the trend line is the lower low, and then the third point is the entry. Higher time frame is the engulfing candle. Low, high, lower, low. Again, same thing. Higher time frame is the engulfing candle. So just get familiar with the structure of how the structure looks in terms of the lower time frame, and the higher time frame is just a confirmation, right? So that's basically how it looks. Here's another example: low, high, lower, low, higher, high. Again, you draw the trend line. The higher time frame is the engulfing candle. Here's another example. It's a continuation pattern, so it's just basically price following the trend, right? Higher time frame is the engulfing candle, as always. Here's another example: high, low, higher, low, low. Again, engulfing candle. Now this is a reversal pattern. It's basically where the QMR or the QMC gets broken and doesn't get respected. So instead of price respecting it, it creates either a rally-based rally or a drop-based rally, drop-based drop. So this is what it looks like: high, low, higher, high, lower, low, and then rally-based rally, or drop-based rally. Yeah, drop-based rally. So opposite for sell, you have drop-based drop or rally-based drop. So I'll show you what that looks like. So you have the high, the low, the higher high, the lower low, but then you have a rally-based rally. Price didn't respect it, so that would be the entry point. And then the higher time frame is the engulfing candle again, as always, as your confirmation. You always need confirmation before you take a trade, and that would be the confirmation. Here's another example: high, low, higher high, lower low, but then price didn't respect the left shoulder. It broke with the rally-based rally, and then that would be the entry point. Again, higher time frame is the engulfing candle. Here's another example: low, high, lower, low, higher, high, and then price didn't respect it. It created a rally-based drop, and then that would be the entry point. And then the higher time frame, you would find your confirmation, which would be the bearish engulfing, right? So here's an example of the manipulation formula. On the higher time frame, basically what you have is a bullish engulfing or a bearish engulfing candle, and then when you switch to the lower time frame, within the body of that candle, there's a rally-based rally or a drop-based drop. So for this example, for buy, it's a bullish engulfing. You switch to the lower time frame. Within that, there's a rally-based rally. Same thing for sells. You have a bearish engulfing. You switch it. There's a drop-based drop. Pretty simple pattern. It's a reversal pattern, so it's high risk. So here's the example of it. So you have a higher time frame. You have the bullish engulfing. You have the body of the engulfing candle. Within that candle, there's a rally-based rally, and that would be the entry point. And then here's another example. You have a bullish engulfing on the higher time frame. On the lower time frame, it's the rally-based rally, and that would be the example. So when the price has started to make a rejection in the zone of that direction, we need to wait until the price creates a setup. It's not enough for price to create a rejection. You have to wait for the setup, right? So if there is an engulfing 1 to 2 time frames higher from the setup time frame, it is better because price already confirmed that it's going to go up or down. So if you found a setup on, let's say, the H1 time frame, you need to look at H4 or the daily for the engulfing as a confirmation. So I'll give you some examples. So the formula is, you basically want to look for a double Mariposa candle. This is the first form of direction. Second step is you want to stand by it when you meet rejection in the Mariposa zone. So majority of price will make a QMR setup there. So this is basically what it would look like. And then step 3, you simply just enter. So you wait for the rejection, you wait for it to create the setup. Then it's going to create either one of these setups, mostly the QMR or the head and shoulders pattern. Those are the two most common. So let's take a look and see what it looks like. So again, this is the pattern. So you want to make sure the higher high, the lower low breaks the high plus low, right? So this is the pattern. This is what it looks like. The one to the right is not valid because if you notice, the lower low already reached the previous low. So that's more high risk. So you want to choose the pattern to the left as opposed to the pattern to the right, because the pattern to the right already tapped the lower low, right? So it's a higher risk basically. You don't want to trade that. So let me teach you the first direction. So direction number 1 is the Dom zone, otherwise known as the double Mariposa, and it's basically just 2 candles up and down. Doesn't matter if it's 2 red candles, 2 green candles. It could be a red and a green, or a green and a red, just as long as it's up and down, not side by side, and not engulfing. So I'll show you what that looks like. So in the higher time frame, what it looks like is basically you have a double Mariposa. In the lower time frame, you have a rally-based rally, or hidden base within that double Mariposa, right? So that's basically what it is. It's a hidden base. There's something inside of the candle. So this is essentially what it would look like in terms of how you would draw the zone, as well as the setup. So if you're looking at the 30-minute time frame, you can see that the head of the setup, which is the QMR, is in line with direction. So, and that's what you want. You want the head of the setup to be in the same line as direction. So on the M30, price created the double Mariposa, which is the first direction. I call it Dom zone direction, Dom zone 1. On the 15-minute time frame, you have a QMR. So you have the high, the low, the higher, the lower, the low, and then price respected it and fell. So that's an example. And then the monthly time frame, you have the double Mariposa again. On the H1, you have a QMC, which is a continuation, low, high, low, low, higher, high. Daily time frame, you have a double Mariposa. On the lower time frame, you have a breakout pattern. So this would be a breakout. So you would use it for breakout as well to confirm direction. So that's on the H4 time frame. H4 created double Mariposa, so that's on the H4 time frame. M5, it created a QMR, which is the reversal. Again, this one created the direction and the setup in the same time frame, so that may happen as well. So the head of the QMR is in line with the double Mariposa, so you can see that right there. H1, you have a double Mariposa for direction. M15, you have the QMR as your setup, right? H4, you have a double Mariposa. M30, you have the QMR or head and shoulders. Pretty similar pattern. This one, I believe, you can consider as both. And then the second type of direction is the double Mariposa breakout zone. Otherwise known as Dom BO zone is what I call it. So this is kind of what it looks like. I'll show you some examples. So on the daily time frame, essentially it's 2 double Mariposas that's broken significantly, right? So you can see price broke this significantly, and that became the zone. Lower time frame, you have a MEF, which is a manipulation. Basically on the higher time frame, it's a bearish engulfing. On the lower time frame, it's a drop-based drop. Or on the M30 or M15, it created a QMR. That happened as well. Here's another example of a double Mariposa breakout zone. So this is direction plus the setup. On the lower time frame, it created a QMR, both on the M15 and M30. So you could have used either one. If M15 or the M30 created the QMR, you want to take the one that's closer to the confirmation time frame. So if H4 is the confirmation time frame as well as direction time frame, you want to take the M30 QMR, not the M15. Here's another example. You have a double Mariposa that's bullish, that gets broken by the bearish candle, and then you have a QMR on the H1 time frame. Third direction you may already be familiar with. It's basically the engulfing fail zone. So this is the H4, created an engulfing cell that gets broken and then respected, and then on M30 it creates a QMR in that zone. So I'll show you some examples. So H4, you have the engulfing cell that gets broken, and then when price returns to that zone, price creates a setup. So this one on M15 created a QMR. Again, H1, you have a bullish engulfing that gets broken. On M30, it creates a QMR. when price pulls back to the zone. H4, you have a bullish engulfing that gets broken. M15, you have a QMR. And that's it. So those are the three different types of direction. So the engulfing fail zone, the double Mariposa that gets broken significantly, and then the double Mariposa zone. So I'm going to go back to the formula for you guys in case you forgot. So you look for the double Mariposa, you wait for price to get to the zone and make rejection, and then it has to create a setup, and then you take your entry after you get the confirmation, which is the engulfing candle, right? So I'm going to give you some examples in the next video. I'm going to take you to the chart and pretty much show you how to find it and how it all looks. So just go through this video and play it over and over, pause it at the examples, or I can send this presentation to you, whatever's easier. But yeah, hope this helps. And then next video, we'll be practicing on the chart all of these setups and direction. Thanks.